The 5th of September, 1348.
London thinks I can stop the plague. I'm starting to suspect I'm only here to count the dead.
I am Elias Thorne, physician of London, and these are the hands that keep its heart beating. My house stands a short walk from Cheapside, close enough that I hear the market bawling through my shutters, yet far enough that the stink of fish and tallow fades before it reaches my study. Merchants, guildmasters, even a canon from St. Paul's climb my stair, certain that I will set their humours right. I was not bred to muck and ignorance. I read my medicine at Oxford. Galen is my daily bread. I have weighed the 4 humours until they feel as real to me as bone and blood. Blood, phlegm, yellow bile, black bile. Too much heat, I bleed. Too much cold and damp, I purge. Melancholy, I treat with diet and ordered living. There is no mystery in it, only balance and craft. Let the priests thunder of God's wrath, and the fishwives mutter of curses. Illness is imbalance, nothing more. And if this pestilence that has marched across Christendom dares to set its foot in London, men such as I will stand between the city and the grave. We are the wall.
The 15th of September, 1348.
I thought men like me would stand between London and death. I was wrong.
The city speaks more of the sea than of salvation now. Ships nose up the Thames bringing wool, wine, and whispers. Dorset, Bristol, Melcombe. A sickness that swells men black and drops them in the street like stones. By the time such tales reach my door, they have swelled like rotten fruit. A rash becomes a scourge. A fever in a poor parish becomes the death of half a county. Yet the season itself sits ill with me. The rains linger and linger. The very stones sweat. Down by the wharves, the air does not move. It congeals. The Thames has always stunk of fish guts and night soil, but now there is a sour heaviness that clings in the throat. I tell my better patients to close their lower shutters, burn juniper and rosemary, hang posies at their windows. It is good practice, and it soothes them to see the smoke rising. I speak calmly, as a physician must. But when I wash my hands at night, the water in the basin looks dimmer, as if some shadow from the day has leached into it. Fear is a kind of poison too. I will not drink it.
The 28th of September, 1348.
It came up the river, as I knew it would. Commerce is a blessing, commerce is a vein. Today it ran black. Thomas Reed, a docker from the bridge, was half carried into my house by 2 of his fellows. His skin burned, his breath came in panting bursts. Beneath his left arm, a swelling pushed against the flesh, hard and darkening, the size of a plum, then, as I watched, seeming to fatten under my fingers. I did as any learned man would. I opened a vein to draw off the corrupt blood. I mixed a strong purgative from aloes and scammony. I laid on a poultice of figs and treacle over the bubo to draw the venom outward. His wife clutched her rosary and stared at me as though each movement of my hand were a charm. I spoke gently, with the voice I was taught to use. I told her the course would be hard, but I have seen grave fevers broken. I believed I would see Thomas on his feet again within the week. A severe case, yes, but still a matter of humours, and humours I understood.
The 8th of October, 1348.
Thomas died on the 3rd day. His wife followed him 2 days after. Their apprentice, a boy with ink stains still fresh on his cuffs, lived barely a week. I repeated the remedies exactly, the bleedings, the purges, the poultices, hotter this time, more powerful draughts. I consulted my books until the words blurred. It made no difference. The swellings blackened, the fevers climbed beyond all sense, and then a stillness, as if someone had snuffed a candle within them. These were poor folk, river folk, damp lodgings, coarse diet, bad air. I told myself the next patient, the next house, would answer better. 7 more came. 7 more I treated with all the learning Oxford ever put in my skull. 7 more I watched slide, sweating and gasping, into the same silence. There is a pattern here that no herb touches, no lancet alters. I begin to suspect that the thing I fight does not even know my name.
I bleed them, purge them, bathe them in herbs, and still they die. My cures do nothing. I only watch.
The 18th of October, 1348.
As my failures multiply, so does my fame. It is a cruel jest. Today a servant in fine livery hammered at my door, breathless, shouting his master's name as though it were a charm. Master Geoffrey of the woolmongers. His household, he said, would have no other man but Elias Thorne, who knows this plague. They mean well. They believe that because I have walked in more pestilential rooms than most, I must have prized some secret from the darkness. In truth, I know only the order in which the signs appear. The ache in the head, the chill, the heat, the swellings in groin or armpit, the blackened tongue, the bloody cough. I can predict the hour when a man will no longer rise from his bed. That is all. Yet already the apprentices in the street call after me as the plague doctor, half in awe, half in fear, as if I carry the thing in my sleeve. I wrap my cloak closer and pretend not to hear. If I am an expert in anything now, it is in watching people leave the world.
The 28th of October, 1348.
They have found my house. At dawn I heard it, a murmur, then a pounding. By the time I reached the stair, the street below was packed, faces upturned, pale and blotched, eyes wild, mothers thrusting children forward, men with cloths pressed under their arms, old women on sticks. Master Thorne, please, please. I saw at once I could not take them all. I chose a handful, more or less at random, and brought them into my hall. The same swellings, the same reek of fever. I worked until my hands shook. It changed nothing. Outside, the knocking went on. Later that day, I was summoned to a goldsmith's house near St. Paul's. There, in a chamber hung with tapestries, I prescribed powdered emerald, theriac, shavings of so-called unicorn horn dissolved in wine, costly nothings to satisfy the terror of a man who could pay. He pressed a heavy purse into my palm with trembling fingers and called me saviour. When I returned home, the poor were still at my door. I told my servant to say I was away. I watched from the dark of the stair as they beat on the wood until their strength failed, then drifted off, one by one, clutching their sores. It seems that in this plague, the rich may purchase elaborate lies, while the poor must make do with bare truth and an unanswered knock.
They call me to fight the plague, but all I do is sign papers. This isn't medicine. It's bookkeeping for the dead.
The 5th of November, 1348.
Today the city told me plainly what it requires of me. Master Fitzwilliam from the Guildhall sent for me, not to tend a cough or lance a bubo, but to sit at a long table beneath the city arms. Before me lay not a patient, but a ledger. Names, properties, rents. Dr. Thorne, he said, we need a learned man to witness these matters. Guildsmen filed past, some sick, some merely frightened, dictating wills as if spitting out their teeth. I wrote, Item, to my eldest son, the house in Bread Street. Item, to the guild, 5 marks. I signed my name beneath each, certifying cause of death where needed. Plague, plague, plague. Hour after hour, my hand cramped around the quill. Ink stained my fingers darker than any fever. When at last I looked up, I understood. I had not touched a bandage all day. I had touched only parchment and wax. My work had ensured that houses, shops, and rents would pass smoothly from the dead to the living. Their bodies would go into pits either way. My quill, it seems, heals property, not flesh. Perhaps this is my true profession now, not physician of bodies, but clerk of catastrophe.
The 16th of November, 1348.
The churchyards are no longer yards, they are fields. New pits gape where grass once grew, and still there is not enough earth for all of us. I walked today between the mounds at St. Bride's. The air was sharp, the sky the colour of old lead. Wooden markers tilt already, names smudged by rain. Somewhere beneath my boots lie Thomas the docker, his wife, their boy, the faces from my doorway, the guildsmen whose wills I witnessed. I counted, as I walked, the lives I have truly saved since this began. I needed only one hand, then no hands. Fever broke here and there by chance, a swelling that never ripened, flukes of providence. My art did not reach the plague, it barely brushed its cloak. Yet the city still calls me doctor. It sends for me to certify, to measure, to record. I see now that I do not stand between London and death at all. I walk behind death, writing down what it has done. I serve the dead, not the living.
They call me doctor, but I don't save lives. I just count the dead.
In these pages, I have only recorded the beginning. If you would see how one cough unmade a city, follow me to the markets, the churches, the ships upon the Thames. There, you will learn how London truly fell.